Hello. Welcome, everyone, to another post-game show here on Mets Central. And the Mets, to no surprise, to absolutely not a single surprise at all, get swept by the Phillies. I'm not going to even sit here and act like I'm surprised or anything. None of this caught me off guard. They went up 4-0 in the first inning, and I just sat here thinking, I don't care. They're going to find a way to lose. And, the funny part is I was texting Turbo. I don't know if he's watching this, but I was texting in the group chat I'm in with him and Matt. And I was saying, because he was just like saying, this is embarrassing as the Mets started to have the game fade away a little bit in the first inning, even when there was just a bit of noise from the Phillies. And I said, bet the house on the Phillies. They're going to win this game. I should have listened to myself because I would have made a fortune tonight because it was so painfully obvious. And I don't know why I didn't listen to myself, but I also felt like an asshole if I did place money on them. But it was so obvious in your face that they were going to lose this game. It was so obvious that they were going to get swept in this series. Not going into it, don't get me wrong. But after the first two games, that was all I needed to know. Even after the first game. But the second game, once the second game ended, I didn't need to see more to know they're getting swept. Now, the Reds are 1.5 games back. The Giants are 1.5 games back. The Reds have a tiebreaker, so the Giants are kind of more 2.5 back unofficially, which I'll never understand why in the standings they don't list it that way. But nonetheless, you have two teams right up your ass. You get off to a 4-0 lead. No urgency. And you know what the insane part is about all this? They got no hits after the first inning. They might as well have not even scored in the first inning, might as well have not got any hits in the first inning. They got no hits after the first inning. That's how you come to play. When you're trying to make a statement and when you're telling me every single night after the games, after they lose, every single night I'm hearing, we're better than this. We have too much talent. We're going to turn things around. Show it. Actions speak louder than words. Show it. All you've shown me is that you're not better than this and that you are this. I mean, you have teams that sold that are right on your tail. The Giants, the Diamondbacks are only 3 games back, and they got rid of their 2 best offensive players outside of Corbin Carroll and Ketel Marte. There are 2 other best offensive performers. The Cardinals, who sold you their closer, who has been complete and utter dog shit since arriving in Queens. Those teams are, I don't think the Cardinals catch you. I don't think the Diamondbacks do. But the fact that those teams are even 3 or 4 games back, what an embarrassment. And then David Peterson, I'm very disappointed. I'm done acting like anything. I don't care about what he did earlier on in the season. I'm giving this guy the same treatment that we gave to Scherzer and Bassett in 2022. And that treatment is virtually throwing tomatoes at him because I don't care about your consistent starts earlier in the year. Show up when it matters and you're not. What a fake all-star appearance for that guy. I I have no care if they move him this offseason. I have no care if a lot of these guys go this offseason, to be honest with you, at this rate. I really don't. If you saw my tweet, you know one of the guys, but I ended up deleting it because because again, like I thought irrational maybe in the moment, but I still do feel that way deep down. But nonetheless, I just wanted to save it more for the off season, is what I'm getting at with that conversation. That's really the only reason why. This team is such a joke. What an embarrassment. Score 4 runs. Jesus Luzardo has not had that strong of a year, and you get no hit after he allows 4 runs in the first inning, and he gets 10 strikeouts. I'm so tired of this. Reed Garrett, I could care less if he's not back next season at this rate. I'm tired of this as well. Tired of Reed Garrett coming in and not looking sharp enough. Everyone thought, oh, maybe the injury list appearance will help him reset a bit. No, maybe what we saw at the beginning of the year was just the outlier. And if this what it's going to be anyway with him, where the start of the season's fine and then he's ran into the ground so quickly, then I really don't care anymore. But it comes down mostly to the offense. Because how about Pete Alonso? How about you do something? How about you show up? Mr. I want all this money in the offseason. Where have you been? Not being able to play good defense at first base, striking out 3 times tonight? Yeah, you want your fucking money, don't you? How about you show that you earn it? Brandon Nimmo, I don't even need to continue to go on with how he's been doing nothing throughout this series over the past few weeks, to be honest with you. And I'm tired of the streakiness with him. It's the entire offense, don't get me wrong. But those two in particular, it's been nothing but frustrating watching those two be streaky for years and years on end. And then you don't have enough offensive support beyond Lindor and Soto, which they need to be better tonight too. Don't get me wrong. But beyond those two, when Alonso and Nimmo are doing this garbage of being streaky nonstop, what's the supporting cast? Jeff McNeil, starring Marte at age 50. Which, sure, he had his 2 RBIs tonight. But you're paying Starling Marte $21 million a year to be a DH right now. And he doesn't hit enough for power. And he takes some of the ugliest at bats I've seen a DH take. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. And then how about Jeff McNeil in center field? Your center field options are so bad that you traded for at the deadline, and Jose Siri that you trade for in the offseason. Their center field options are so bad that you can't put them out there. And here's Nick Castellanos hitting a ball into center field, which is probably caught by someone that could play a good defensive center field. But no, you have to put McNeil out there. You don't have a choice. Because what are you going to do? Or was it the Otto Kemp one, rather? Sorry, it was the Otto Kemp double. It might have been. It was one of those. But nonetheless, You have to put, yeah, it was the Otto Kemp one. Sorry. The Otto Kemp one. But you have to put this guy out in center field because they don't hit. But Jeff McNeil's not hitting either. So I don't know what you do about that anymore. All this to say, this roster is constructed so flawly to where what are you going to do? What are you actually going to do come October if you have the luxury of getting there, which I can't even sit here and actually say that they're getting to October. I have no reason to believe that, like I've been saying the past few days, and they're doing nothing but giving me further reason to not believe that. And again, don't give me the fact that they're too talented and that they'll turn it around if they get in October because of the names on this team. Like I said, if they were this good together, they wouldn't be in this predicament in the first place. If the talent was that good, we're not talking about them fighting for a playoff spot. We're talking about issues here, but we're not talking about fighting for a playoff spot. But the reality is, these guys could put up the individual numbers. When it comes to being a cohesive unit, it does not matter. And this happens way too much. And a lot of it is because of the stupid hitting coach. And you could tell in the batter's box when they're not ready for fastballs. It's very apparent. But part of this does fall on them because we've seen this with Alonso. We've seen this with Nimmo. And this is why, come the winter, there's going to be some very uncomfortable conversations about splitting up a lot of this group. And if you were to ask me right now, and I will talk more about this in the offseason, and sure, could they change my mind over the past or over the next few weeks? Sure. And go ahead and do it. But as of today, if the offseason started today and this team missed the playoffs like I expect them to, then outside of Lindor and Soto, I really do not care about who leaves and who stays from this offense. Everyone else, I really don't care if they get moved. I don't at all. But there is something that needs to change with the construction of this roster, not just from a lineup standpoint, not just from a hitting philosophy standpoint, but again, they need guys that are athletes that can actually play defense as well. Because you have too much of the same here right now. And I will dive deeper into this during the offseason. I don't want to get too ahead of myself. But those are just my thoughts as of right now. Now you play the Rangers and Jacob deGrom pitching on Friday, pitching tomorrow. Have a field day. I could tell you right now, whatever Jake's strikeout number is set at on the betting apps, I am destroying the over on it tomorrow. Absolutely destroying the over. And you guys should be doing the same thing. If, of course, you are old enough to bet. That is. I don't want to promote it. If not. But if you are able to bet, put the house on Jacob deGrom hitting the over. I would even go with the alternate strikeouts and go like a strikeout or two over, whatever the line set at. Because now you're relying on your young starting pitchers to save you this weekend. And it's not going to happen with this offense. I can tell you for free. I'm telling you right now, they drop this series or get swept by the Rangers. At that point, I'm already there to where I don't think they're making the playoffs. But if they drop the series or get swept by the Rangers, I am Like, I'm not even entertaining the conversation of this team making the playoffs. I'm just not. Because, like I said yesterday or the day before, whatever, they probably realistically need to go just 10-7 down the stretch here. You're already at 2 losses out of those 7. And that's to comfortably make it. Sure, obviously they can maybe do worse and make it, but they drop the series or get swept, you're going to have to win at least every series down the stretch and find a way to get a sweep. I don't know where that's coming outside of maybe the Nationals. But this team is genuinely in danger of not being a playoff team and having a collapse. Like, we're actually there. And I can't even believe it. I can and I can't. Just horrible. It's hard to segue here. But I did want to also throw this in here because I feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't. That I do want to, of course, sit here since it is 9/11 as well, and sit here and talk about that a little bit and talk about how we thank all of the first responders that were there and everything during the event. Those who risked their lives, those who saved their lives. It's never an easy day when this comes around. I mean, it just the air feels different. I can't explain it. Maybe you get what I mean, but it just feels different every time it comes around. And I thought I would, throw that in there, even though this is really a just brutal stream to be throwing this in there. But I just wanted to, of course, mention that because I know that for a lot of people watching, I'm sure that there is a good amount, I should say, that it hits home this day, especially. So I, of course, wasn't born to sit here and say, I remember where I was or anything, but I thought that I would throw that in there just because, it's a day that we'll never forget. Truly is. Now, difficult to segue off of that, but yes, never forget all the people that lost their lives. Now, to try and segue off of this and go back to the Mets. Let's see what you guys are saying. They're going to miss the playoffs, probably. Typical Mets, no hit for 8 innings, 400 teams since June 13th, 2/3 of the season, fourth worst winning percentage. They're on their way to being below 500. I can't actually fathom that they are going to be worse this regular season than last year. They started 21 games above 500. They were 21 games above 500. 2.5 runs average over the last 8 games. I thought Chavez fixed the offense. I'd love to hear what he's saying right now. How come the media is not asking him questions? Yeah, says a lot. Brian, you and I on the same wavelength here. I really could care less about what I really do not care if anyone else goes beyond those two. And then on the pitching side, obviously the young pitchers couldn't give a flying fuck right now if the rest of them went. Yeah, I dare him to opt out with the way that he's playing. I've seen people saying that this might be worse than '07, which I was trying to sit here because I don't remember '07. I was trying to sit here and say, yeah, I don't know about that. But the fact that there are people that remember '07 and are saying that this is worse, I want to put my head through a freaking wall right now. Probably throwing a no hitter tomorrow. Yeah. Yep. This is. And they have a better deadline this year than the year prior, where they go to the Final Four for nothing, or at least on paper. I mean, last year's deadline now looks like a country mile better than this year, which I can't. I actually can't. This is where I'm having a tough decision, Brian, because there's part of me that wants to go because it could be the final homestand of the year. So there's this part of me that wants to go to a few games here. But then there's this other part of me that is like, is this crap worth it right now? Is it worth it? The money, the effort of making the trip there? Losing my breath here. Damn. And this is the other point. Not only is it not easy to sweep a 4-game series, the Phillies are not even healthy. And they whooped your ass this entire week. It wasn't even just losing, it was downright disrespectful, kicking you into the curb. Not to pile on this, but I don't care at this point. Can Alvarez maybe miss a pregame meal or two? Players are. I'm not even gonna get into that. To me, I don't care what his physique is if he's gonna play good baseball. Um, but he's not playing good baseball, and a lot of that's because of the injury. Which, who would have thought? Who would have thought? Gonna miss the playoffs in Juan Soto's first year of the contract. Wow. Yeah, it's just one series. It's only September, guys. No need to panic. No need to worry at all. Do I dare look at the post game quotes, or am I just gonna get mad? Let's do it though. Either way, for the sake of it. Carlos Mendoza. Let me guess. Something about how they're too talented. Something about how they're going to be better, or we're better than this. Something along those lines. Let's say Carlos Mendoza was asked how worried he is about the Mets right now. Not going to say that I'm worried, but we don't have too much time. Teams are right behind us. The way you look at it is we're still in control of the situation. Carlos Mendoza was asked if there's anything he could do to reset the Mets. I'm responsible on the manager. It's my job to get these guys going, and I will. I respect different answers. I respect the accountability, but now you got to go out there and do it. It's that simple, which no faith in that. At least then he won't be shocked for getting let go of this offseason if he's admitting he needs to do a better job at getting them going. And that's the other thing too. It's like, have you not been? Because to me, that tells me that your message isn't getting through to these guys. And if that's the case, if they don't respond to this, he has to go. He has to go. He's admitting that this is on him. So if they miss, I don't want to see him back next year. Nonetheless, um, I'm gonna wrap things up here. There will be a podcast episode at some point tomorrow because unfortunately, this is what I do. I waste my time talking about this team over and over again, repeating the same things over and over again. And yeah, I don't know really what to say anymore. Have a good night, everyone.